Here's a wonderful poem, a poet, Lee McCormack. He's a poet and a guitar maker who lives in the primal, dank, and moldy forests of West Tisbury. He was born in Seymour, Indiana. He left at 1 month old and never returned, and so remembers nothing of that town. By the grace of some strange god, he is alive and lives with a dog named Mr. Beans. And though he is seldom seen, he is really not dead as many people think. Writing poetry most of his life has sustained him through life's little muddles and allowed him to touch the mystery, which he realizes language can hint at, but never explain. Lee McCormack.
Thank you, Mike. That was better than anything I'm going to read. I have to tell you, I'm not totally disorganized, but almost. And as close to totally disorganized as possible. So you'll have to bear with me. Mike wanted me to read some new poems, and he said stretch out, which is very nice of him and very generous. But I haven't read for a long, long time, and the new poems are very close to me, so I thought I'd start out with a few older ones, and some simpler things, some smaller things. Like, to start with, there was a young man from Nantucket who kept all his chum in a bucket. He met a young lady who taught him things shady, and as for the bucket, well, you know. Okay. This is called The Origin of Myth. After the future, stories will be told, which even if lies, will resemble a life. Stories, the same old one. A man has nothing, yet in the sheath of his body, a yearning, a bountiful absence, lingers that for a while reminds him of the sunlit sweat from which he rises after sex, outstretched heron shape in flight, the lake below, the woman placid, blue, their names forgotten, the sound of perpetually white of wings against the sky. And this is a poem. I love Spanish poetry and South American poetry and European, Eastern European poetry, and it's been very influential over the years. And I love Lorca, and he's always been with me. So, which I wanted to say, Linda, I loved your reading, and that was so incredible. And how, it's so hard to read after you performed like that. I'm so impressed. You have duende, which Lorca would love, This is called Lorca's Advice. Lorca's advice is to take a glass of water with you when you sit down to write and listen. Listen to the demons and the orchids in your bloodstream. They command saints and invalids to walk. Get up and go, get up and walk. And you cannot stop them from simply passing through you. Like parents, living or dead, they get up and walk through you. Like children, they get up and walk through you. Sometimes words fall short of expectations, and in the smell of what is green, your thoughts can't correct mistakes of nature. A man takes himself to a glass of water, and soon a whole river flows, or is dammed by the way he drinks or breaks the glass. Now, I spent years trying to write love poems, and they were always trash. And I couldn't figure out why until in the last 10 years I found out why. You can't write love poems when you're in love and your love is being reciprocated, because everything you write is trash and mush. The only time you can write a really great love poem or a decent love poem is when you're in complete loss or complete longing. So it took me 50 years to learn that. I was just like, wow. This is an old poem, which was a love poem. It's called Bending Spoons. Because she is calm, her soles don't sweat, and he can concentrate on the way trees shake in the wind, the migration of birds, the way he moves inside of her. Even alone, they're not quite separate. When she leaves a room, she is the form of it, and for a while he wanders around looking for objects to prove she was there. Like a cat falling from a countertop, memories formed and taken away by different postures of her body leave him catching his breath, eyes wide to receive the impact. Locks opened in her present affect his mind. Going to a window, he knows it will be closed. Even without light, she shadows his peripheral vision. Late at night, he watches TV and sees a psychic stopping watches, bending spoons. Asleep in his chair at 3 a.m., he dreams. She looks into a mirror, and he hears the downward flow of glass. Now we're getting into, well, this is one more poem from that era. It's called The Beating, and this again was inspired by Lorca. I love his little folk poems that he does, and this was my attempt to do one of those little sing-songy type folk things. It's called The Beating. Sometimes the wind beats me with a fist as harsh as the interior of the sky. I suffer its furious blows with closed eyes because I'm thinking of you. Without a heart, without a hand or foot, without any reason or tangible form, because I'm thinking of you. Dead birds rattle in the chimney like a box of unworn rings, as it blows through their skulls and bony wings, without a hat, without a glove or shoe, without any sense or tangible shape, because I'm thinking of you. Glances you gave me smother skies' pale veins of blue. Rain drowns fingerprints and footprints left in the dust by your shoes. Even my hair is bruised. Without a heart, without a wrist or ankle, without any words or tangible storms, because I'm thinking of you.